Let's start in Iran, where the funeral is underway for the country's late president, Ibrahim Raisi. These are live pictures that we have for you from Mashhad. It's Mr. Raisi's home city and where he is being buried today. Huge crowds have been following the funeral procession. You can see perhaps in the crowd giant photographs of the late president, along with all of those black flags and also religious symbols, all lining the street as people gather today. 7 other people died in the crash in the mountainous northwest of the country. It was very foggy that day as well. The body of Mr. Raisi's foreign minister, Hossein Amir Abdullahian, is also being laid to rest. Rana Rahampour is an Iran analyst. She explained that despite the crowds, many in Iran will not be mourning.
Obviously, those who are participating in the mourning processions are the supporters of the Islamic Republic. And the numbers are quite significant, given that President Raisi in 2021's election gained about 18 million votes. But it doesn't mean that he was a popular character. The election in which he became the president had the lowest turnout of the history of the Islamic Republic, in which he only got 30% of those votes. And unfortunately, because of the protests in 2022, which was violently cracked down by the regime, his popularity even fell further. So the numbers might seem significant, but we're talking about a country of over 85 million people. And yes, there are people who are out on the streets, but they definitely are not showing a full picture of the Iranian nation. We know many Iranians are also happy about what has happened, and they have been celebrating what has happened to President Raisi.
I see, Rana, that people were given free transportation to attend from around the country. And as we watch the coffin being carried on people's shoulders, the chant that you also do hear coming from the crowds is "Death to America." Now, that is to be expected, isn't it? That has been the narrative that you do hear at things like this.
Totally, because President Raisi came from the ultra-radical right-wing faction of the Iranian politics, and that is the faction that is now present at his funeral. But again, this is not everything that we hear. We see a lot of debate on Iranian Persian-speaking social media, where the supporters of the regime say, "Look at these footage, look how popular he was." But then opponents of the Islamic Republic say, "Are we allowed to be on the streets? Are we not going to be shot at? If you're not scared of your popularity, if you're confident that you are a strong regime, why aren't we allowed to have a referendum or even participate in the anti-government protests inside the country without being shot at, without being ending up in prison?" So it's a very volatile time for the Islamic Republic, and especially in coming weeks, and the upcoming early presidential election is going to be very tense for the regime.